Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to choose between me or my pregnant sister-in-law? I, 29F, have been married to my husband for 8 years. About 2 months ago, I had my third miscarriage, 31 weeks, stillborn. I won't be talking about it because it makes me feel so depressed, but you'll need to remember this. About 4 months ago, my sister-in-law, 20F, came crying at our doorstep telling us she's pregnant and her boyfriend didn't want anything to do with the pregnancy and had nowhere to go. My husband and I openly took her in, welcomed her into our home with open arms. For the first few weeks, it was really hard for her, understandably. I sat with her for hours, holding her when she cried, binging our favorite TV shows, eating so much ice cream we quite literally fell into a coma. It was really bonding for us, or so I thought. Here's where it starts going downhill. I take pride in my neat, clean home. My sister-in-law, on the other hand, did not. She would leave her clothes all around the house, leave her dirty dishes wherever, even went as far as leaving her toys on our living room table. I tried to talk to her directly before I talked to my husband. She immediately started crying and told me she'd try to be cleaner. I hugged her, told her it was okay. But this is a clear boundary for me. She told me it wouldn't happen again. But it only got worse. She told me I was expected to do her laundry, dishes, and clean her room daily because she's the pregnant one. While I do understand how hard it is being pregnant, I just couldn't allow feeling like a maid in my own home. Disclaimer: I bought this house, not my husband. It was all me, not to mention my recent loss of my child. So I told my husband, but what he told me shocked me. His exact words were,
"Honey, she's going through a lot right now. We really should be helping her out. Plus, it might make you feel better to take care of someone who's pregnant."
I was pissed, to say the least. Make me feel better? She's going through a lot. We need to help her. Letting her stay with us wasn't enough. While I don't want to invalidate her pain, my husband and I were also going through our own problems. Anyways, we moved on. I did my best to maintain work and the household chores. My husband works from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., so he isn't around to help much. I work from home full time, so it's been super stressful. When I even try to ask for help from my sister-in-law, she always makes an excuse, even if she's just watching TV. The one thing that pushed me over the edge was I went out to buy my one food that I have actually enjoyed eating after my miscarriage. I wrote my name on it and directly asked my sister-in-law to not eat it. Well, I went to go to my fridge to get it, and you'll never guess. She freaking ate it. Now you may think it's just food. I buy all the groceries, basically pay all the bills. I don't mind people having some of my food, but the one thing I asked to not be touched gets touched. I told my husband, and of course he rubbed it into my face, that she's pregnant. I need to be less selfish, and life is about sacrifices. I was so upset. I told him that I felt like him and her were the horrible roommates people talk about on Reddit. He didn't take that well, lol. Which leads us to the fallout. My sister-in-law planned a random baby shower party thing at my house. I personally didn't know if I could even be home when this was happening. I felt so hurt that she wouldn't talk to me, knowing everything that has happened, and that she would just invite random strangers into another person's home before asking. My husband urged me to go. I told him it would permanently affect mine and her relationship, so I told him I'd go. About halfway through the party, my husband and sister-in-law announced that they wanted to show the nursery to everyone. I was confused. Nursery? She was staying that long? What room did she turn into a nursery? They told everyone to head upstairs. That's when it hit me. They were talking about my nursery for my baby I had just lost. A wave of emotions hit me when I saw everyone in my baby's nursery telling her what a good job they did setting it up. My setup for my baby that my body failed to give me. I just lost it. I started sobbing. Then that sadness turned into pure rage. I started yelling at my sister-in-law, telling her she's the foulest human for putting me through everything she has for the last few months, making me feel like I was a maid or an object for her convenience. Through choked up tears, I turned to my husband, whose jaw was on the floor. I turned my head to see his entire family just staring at me. I lost it again, yelling. I looked at my sister-in-law, telling her, "How dare you use my nursery for my baby? How dare you think you have the right?" What she told me made me fall to my knees sobbing.
"It's not my fault you couldn't produce a child. Why let this go to waste? You're so selfish."
My husband tried to pick me up off the floor, but I yelled again, standing to my knees, which were now shaking. I told him, "Pick." A dumbfound look on his face. I yelled again, "Pick me or her." He couldn't even muster up anything to say. I just looked at him, pure betrayal. I pushed past the crowd of family and ran straight up here to type this out. Even if no one sees this, at least it's helped me let these emotions out. Now's the point where I ask, am I the a-hole for yelling at my pregnant sister-in-law and telling my husband to choose between me or her?